Hello, wonderful students. We are going back in our book even more to Chapter 10, Lesson 8. Chapter 10, Lesson 8. And we're going to be doing this just because I want to introduce this idea to you. It's page 751. There isn't a picture, I guess because it wants you to draw things. So there isn't a picture, but it says hands-on multiplication as scaling. 751. So if you're not there yet, pause it, but once you are here now, let's read this definition of scaling. So scaling is the process of resizing a number when you multiply by a fraction that is greater than or less than 1. So I want you to think of this a scale model. If anyone knows what a scale model is, that's like, you have the Statue of Liberty. Oh my gosh, I'm going to draw a very terrible Statue of Liberty. Oh my gosh, this is maybe the worst thing ever. Here she is, the real Statue of Liberty, right? She's got her book she's holding, and she's up on a pedestal, right? There's the real Statue of Liberty. Yuck, sort of. Smiley face. And then there's a scale model, right, which takes all the same measurements and just shrinks it down to be this little teeny tiny thing with the, right? And so it's the same thing, it's just scaled down. It's scaled down. There also can be things that are bigger. I showed you that water bear, right, last week or a couple weeks ago, and it's this like little microscopic creature that kind of looks like a weird animal thingy, blubbery, I don't know. Okay, so there's our water bear. You can make a scale model of the water bear, but this one has to be bigger, remember, because the water bear is actually smaller than a grain of salt, right? It's smaller than that. And so smaller than salt, in order to make it something that you could see and understand its proportions, you have to make a scale model of it, but make it much bigger. So there's models that get bigger and models that get smaller, and that is the process of scaling, is when you're resizing a number. And so we're just going to kind of glance at this a little bit today and introduce this topic. You're going to do more with this in middle school, but I just want to introduce the topic to you because it actually is multiplying by fractions. So it says, for example, multiply the number 2 by 3 different fractions greater than 1. And it's just giving you some, like 1 1/5, 1 1/2, and 1 3/4. So 2 times 1 1/5. Well, we know that I can't multiply it. I have to convert this. So it's 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. So this is 6/5. 2 over 1 times 6/5. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times 5 is 5. So it's 12/5, or 5 can fit into 12 2 times, 2 wholes with 2 left over. And that was me dividing, you guys. 12 divided by 5. 5 goes in there 2 times, and there's 2 left over, and I keep my denominator. So if I scale it times 1 1/5, my new number is 2 2/5. Now if I do 2 times 1 1/2, remember I have to convert this. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So we have 2 times 3 halves. That's a 2 over 1, of course. That's 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 2, 6 halves, or 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 2 times 1 3/4, we're getting even bigger. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. That's 7/4. 2 over 1 times 7/4, multiply across the numerator. 14, multiply across the denominator. 14/4. 14, that's 14 divided by 4. That's what that sign means. I have 2 left. I keep my denominator. 2/4. What do I know about 2/4? I can divide out a 2 and a 2, and it becomes 1/2. And so then we can plot these new numbers on a number line. So here's the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where we started. We started at 2, and we went to 2 2/5. So if we divide this one between 2 and 3 into fifths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 2 and 2/5. 1, 2. That's that one. We can label it 2 and 2/5. And then we have a 3. Oh, that one was easy. And then we have 3 1/2. I can just eyeball that one, right? So there's my 3 and then 3 1/2. And then we can compare the products. Are the answers, the products, remember product is the answer to a multiplication song, are they multiplication problem, are the products greater than, less than, or equal to 2? Well, they're all greater than 2, right? So multiplying a fraction by a greater than 1, anything, 1 and 1/7, 1 and 1/1000th, 1 and 1/5, 1 and 3/4, any number greater than 1, any fraction greater than 1, results in a product that is greater than the original number. Results in a product that is greater than the original number. Any number we pick to multiply, if we did 1 and 17/20 and multiplied it by 2, it's going to be somewhere greater than 2. It's all going to be this way on this side of the 2. It's getting larger. Okay, let's turn the page. This time we're going to multiply the number 2 by 3 fractions less than 1. So they just picked random ones. You could pick whatever ones you wanted. So they did 2 times 1/4, 2 times 1/2, and 2 times 5/8. And we're going to see what happens here. So now this one we don't even have to convert them. It's easy. This is 2 over 1. So we multiply across the numerator. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. 2/4. Oh, I need to simplify that to 1/2, right? 1/2. 2 times 1/2. Oops, it's 2 over 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 halves or 1, right? 1. And then this one, 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 8 is 8. Now I can divide this out. 1 whole and 2/8 or divide out of 2 equals 1/4. 1 and 1/4. Now let's plot these numbers. So we started at 2 and we've got 1/2. Okay, that's exactly between 0 and 1. So there's 1/2. And then I've got 1. And then I've got 1 and 1/4, which would be 1 and between 1 and 2 right there. 1 and 1/4. Now compare our products. Are the products greater than 2, less than 2, or equal to 2? Yeah, they're all less than 2. So anytime you multiply a number by a fraction less than 1, multiplying a number by a fraction less than 1 results in a product that is less than the number. Okay, so predict whether the product, this is number 1, of 3 and 4/5 is greater than, less than, or equal to 3. Now remember, we learned just here that multiplying a number, any number, by a fraction less than 1, is 4/5 less than 1? Results in a product that is less than the number. Less than. And you could do the work, right? 3 times 4/5, that's a 3 over 1. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 5 is 5. We divide 12 divided by 5. Remember that fraction is a division problem. 5 fits into 12 2 times. Subtract 2 and 2/5. Is 2 and 2/5 less than 3? Yeah. Okay, we're going to do mathematical practice number 3, drawing conclusions. Predict. We're doing the same thing. Predict whether the product of 2 and 2 1/5 is greater than, less than, or equal to 2. Well, it's not going to be equal to it. It would have to be multiplied by 1 exactly to be equal to it. Is it less than 2? Now remember, multiplying a number, any number, by a fraction less than 1. Is this less than 1? 2 1/5? No. So that's this rule on this page. Multiplying a number, it was 2, by a fraction greater than 1 results in a product that is greater than the number. So this is greater than 1. It's going to be greater than that number. So on this practice page, let's write up at the top here. Let's put less than 1 is less than the number. That makes sense. Greater than 1 is greater than the number. And we're talking about the fractions. If the fraction is less than 1, oops, you can't see the word fraction. If the fraction is less than 1, then the product is going to be less than the original number. If the fraction is greater than 1, then the product is going to be greater than the original number. So it says here, without multiplying, you guys, it's giving you permission to not do the work on this one. So without multiplying, tell me whether this product is going to be greater than, less than, or equal to the whole number. 2 times 1/8. Well, my fraction, is that less than 1 or greater than 1? Less than 1, so it's going to be less, the product is going to be less than. Let's look at this one, number 10. We've got, or number 4, 10 times 1 3/5. Ooh, that's greater than 1. I've got 1 and some extra, so my product is going to be greater than. It's scaling it bigger. 1 3/4 times 4. They switched the order on me, but my fraction is greater than 1. So is my product going to be greater than? Yes. 5 6. Is that less than or greater than 1? Less than. My product is going to be less than 12. It's getting smaller. 1 1/3 times 2. My fraction is greater than 1, so my product is going to be greater than the whole number. 3/5 times 6. It doesn't matter which order because of the commutative property. Is 3/5 greater than or less than 1? It is less than 1, so my product is going to be less than. And that is where we are going to end for today, my friends. Great job. Keep up the good work. This is just a little touch into some stuff you're going to do into middle school. So good work.